The NFL world is absolutely exploding right now, and what we're about to reveal will have Cleveland Browns fans jumping out of their seats with excitement while sending shockwaves through every front office in the league. A major insider has just leaked Todd Monken's master plan for the Cleveland Browns quarterback position. And folks, this is the kind of information that changes everything. We're talking about a calculated, methodical strategy that's been years in the making, involving one of college football's most electric quarterbacks and a coaching mastermind who has turned good quarterbacks into MVP caliber superstars. This isn't just another coaching hire or another draft prospect evaluation. This is a full-blown organizational transformation that could finally end Cleveland's decades-long nightmare at the quarterback position. Before we dive deep into this bombshell revelation, make absolutely sure you hit that subscribe button and smash the notification bell because this story is developing faster than a Shedeur Sanders laser down the sideline, and you're not going to want to miss a single update as this unfolds. Trust me when I tell you, what's happening in Cleveland right now is the kind of stuff that NFL legends are built on, and you're going to want to say you were here from the beginning when this story broke wide open. The Cleveland Browns have officially named Todd Monken as their new head coach. And on the surface, that might seem like just another coaching move in a league that cycles through coaches like some people change their socks. But here's where things get absolutely wild, and I mean completely off the charts insane. According to multiple sources with direct knowledge of the situation, people who have actually been in those closed-door meetings where the real decisions get made, there's one specific reason Todd Monken got this job. Just one. And that reason has a name: Shedeur Sanders. Let that marinate for a second. The Cleveland Browns didn't hire Todd Monken simply because he's been a successful offensive coordinator. They didn't hire him just because he has an impressive resume, or because he interviewed well, or because he checked all the conventional boxes that teams typically look for in head coaching candidates. No. They hired him because he walked into that interview room and presented a crystal clear, meticulously detailed, absolutely comprehensive plan for developing Shedeur Sanders into not just a starting quarterback, not just a good quarterback, but a franchise quarterback. We're talking about the kind of transformational player who can carry a team for the next decade plus, the kind of quarterback who gets his jersey retired and a statue built outside the stadium. This information is coming directly from people inside the Browns organization who were present during the hiring process, who heard the pitches, who saw the presentations, who understand exactly what swayed ownership and management. This isn't media speculation or hot take artists throwing ideas at the wall to see what sticks. This is legitimate inside information from people who know what's really happening behind the scenes in Berea, Ohio. The Browns are making a massive bet, and that bet is on the Monken-Sanders connection becoming the foundation that finally lifts this franchise out of the quarterback purgatory it's been trapped in since returning to the NFL. Think about that for a moment. An entire NFL franchise is restructuring itself around the potential pairing of a first-time head coach and a college quarterback who hasn't thrown a single NFL pass yet. That's either the boldest move we've seen in years or absolute madness, and honestly, the line between those two things is pretty thin in the NFL. Now, before anyone starts thinking this is just hype or wishful thinking or Cleveland being Cleveland and getting everyone's hopes up before inevitably disappointing them again, let's talk about why this makes absolutely perfect sense. Todd Monken doesn't just have a vision, he has receipts, and those receipts are absolutely spectacular. The kind of track record that makes general managers wake up in the middle of the night thinking, how do we get that guy? Look at what Todd Monken accomplished as the offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens working with Lamar Jackson. We're not talking about marginal improvement or slight statistical upticks. We're talking about transformative offensive schemes that turned a quarterback many people doubted as a passer into a two-time NFL MVP. Let me say that again for the people in the back: two-time MVP. That doesn't happen by accident. That happens because you have an offensive coordinator who knows how to maximize a quarterback's unique skill set while simultaneously developing the areas where they need improvement. One analyst put it perfectly when describing Monken's credentials. This dude is one of the better offensive minds that we've seen in the game. He did it at the college level with my Bulldogs a few years back, won national championships, then he goes to the Ravens and sort of reinvents how Lamar Jackson plays the game. The guy's obviously an offensive genius. That word reinvents is crucial here because it speaks to Monken's philosophy and approach to quarterback development. He doesn't try to force square pegs into round holes. He doesn't take a quarterback and say, here's my system, now conform to it or fail. That's the approach that has destroyed countless young quarterbacks over the years, talented players who never reached their potential because they were shoved into offensive schemes that didn't fit their abilities. Monken does the exact opposite, and this is what makes him special. He studies a quarterback's unique talents, their strengths, their natural instincts, the things they do exceptionally well. Then he builds his entire offensive system around those abilities. When Monken arrived in Baltimore, he didn't try turning Lamar Jackson into Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. He didn't force Lamar to become a traditional pocket passer, standing in the pocket, going through five-step drops. Instead, Monken created schemes that weaponized Lamar's incredible athleticism, while simultaneously developing his passing game to elite levels. The scheme incorporated designed quarterback runs that turned Lamar's speed into a devastating offensive weapon. It featured RPO concepts that kept defenses completely off balance, never knowing whether to commit to stopping the run or defending the pass. The play-action game became absolutely lethal because defenses had to respect the run so much, and the passing concepts, the progressions, the route combinations, they all played to Lamar's strengths while gradually expanding his comfort zone and pushing him to grow as a passer. The results speak for themselves in a language that even the biggest skeptics can't ignore. Under Monken's guidance, Lamar Jackson became one of the most efficient and productive quarterbacks in the entire NFL. We're talking about MVP-caliber seasons, record-breaking performances, and an offense that struck fear into defensive coordinators across the league. Now here's where things get really interesting, and this is the part that should have every Browns fan absolutely losing their minds with excitement. The parallels between what Lamar Jackson brought to Baltimore and what Shedeur Sanders could bring to Cleveland are absolutely stunning. Look at Shedur's skill set. Incredible accuracy on throws at all levels, beautiful touch on deep balls that drop right into receivers' hands like they're on a string, ability to read defenses pre-snap and identify where the soft spots will be, processing speed that allows him to work through progressions quickly, and enough mobility to extend plays when the pocket breaks down. Sound familiar? Those are the exact tools that Todd Monken has proven he knows how to weaponize at the NFL level. Shedeur has the arm talent to make every throw in Monken's playbook. He has the football intelligence to handle complex offensive systems. He has the mobility to keep plays alive and make defenses pay when they think they have him trapped. And perhaps most importantly, he has the intangible qualities, the leadership, the competitiveness, the mental toughness that separate good quarterbacks from great ones. But wait, because this story gets even better, and this is where we learn just how long Todd Monken has had his eye on Shedeur Sanders. There's a story that most people don't know, a piece of history that reveals this isn't some recent development or a connection that just happened when Monken got the Cleveland job. This goes back further than almost anyone realizes. Todd Monken actually approached Deion Sanders and Shedeur during a previous draft process. Not this year, not recently, but earlier in Shedeur's college career. Monken wanted to sign Shedeur Sanders to his team, wanted to bring him into the NFL and start developing him. But here's the absolutely wild part that tells you everything you need to know about both Monken's evaluation of Shedeur and Shedeur's confidence in himself. Monken initially approached them about Shedeur coming in as a backup quarterback. Can you even imagine that conversation? Here's Todd Monken, one of the most respected offensive minds in football, telling the son of an NFL legend that he wants to bring him to the league, but as a backup. Most players would jump at that opportunity, would take the chance to get their foot in the door, learn the NFL game, collect a paycheck while developing behind a veteran. But not Shedeur Sanders, not even close. Shedeur showing the kind of unwavering self-belief and confidence that you absolutely need to succeed at the quarterback position in the NFL. Flat out refused that backup role. He knew his worth. He understood his abilities. He wasn't settling for anything less than a legitimate chance to compete for a starting job. That's not arrogance. That's not being unrealistic. That's the mindset of a champion, the mentality of someone who knows they're destined for greatness and isn't willing to accept anything less. Think about what that moment reveals about both men. It shows that Munkin recognized Shedur's talent early, before he became the highly touted prospect we know today. It demonstrates that Munkin's interest in coaching Shedur isn't new or opportunistic. It's been brewing for years, and from Shedur's perspective, it shows he's willing to bet on himself, to turn down a guaranteed opportunity because he believes in his ability to earn something better. Now, fast forward to today, to this exact moment in time. Todd Monken is the head coach of the Cleveland Browns with the power and authority to shape the entire organization's direction. He's not just an offensive coordinator anymore, not just a position coach with limited influence. He's the guy, the man in charge, the person who gets to make the big decisions about personnel, about schemes, about building the roster. And he's in the perfect position to bring Shedeur Sanders in as the guy. Not a backup, not a project, not a developmental prospect, as QB1, the face of the franchise, the foundation that everything else gets built around. This history between Munkin and Shedur tells you absolutely everything you need to know about what's about to happen. Munkin has been eyeing Shedur for a long time. He's studied the game film obsessively. He knows Shedur's strengths inside and out. He understands the potential that's waiting to be unlocked. He's thought about how to scheme an offense around those abilities. And now, finally, he has the power to make it happen. One analyst broke down Munkin's impact on Lamar Jackson with numbers that are absolutely mind-blowing. Todd Monken helped Lamar Jackson, even when he didn't win an MVP, have 41 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. That's last year when he lost the MVP to Josh Allen. Todd Monken allowed Lamar Jackson to experience his most prolific seasons. Let's talk about those numbers for a second, because numbers don't lie, and these numbers are screaming at us. Todd Monken was the architect behind Lamar Jackson's NFL MVP season, and that MVP award wasn't even close. Lamar absolutely dominated the league, putting up statistics that made everyone else look like they were playing a different sport. But Monken didn't stop there, didn't rest on those laurels and coast. In another season working with Lamar, Monken helped him throw 41 touchdowns with only 4 interceptions. Let that ratio sink into your brain for a minute. 41 TDs to just 4 picks. That's a better than 10-to-1 ratio, which is efficiency that's nearly unheard of in NFL history. That's the kind of production you only see in video games or fantasy football projections that seem too good to be true. To put that in proper perspective, that efficiency level rivals the absolute best seasons from the greatest quarterbacks who have ever played the game. We're talking about numbers that compare favorably to peak Tom Brady, prime Aaron Rodgers, and Peyton Manning in his record-breaking year. Those are the only quarterbacks in NFL history who have approached that kind of touchdown-to-interception ratio while throwing the ball that much. And Monken got those numbers from a quarterback who was still developing as a passer, who entered the league with questions about his arm and his ability to beat teams through the air. Now think about this logically. If Todd Monken can produce those kinds of results with Lamar Jackson, a quarterback who was known primarily as a runner coming out of Louisville, imagine what he could do with Shedeur Sanders. Many professional scouts and evaluators say that Shedeur has even more pure passing ability than Lamar had entering the league. Better natural accuracy, more advanced footwork, superior mechanics, more experience making pro-style reads and working through complex progressions. Shedeur has been throwing at an elite level his entire college career. He's been making NFL-quality reads, working through progressions like a veteran, showing touch and ball placement that you usually only see from quarterbacks with years of professional experience. His deep ball accuracy is exceptional. His intermediate game is polished. His short and quick game is crisp and efficient. He can throw with anticipation, fitting balls into tight windows before receivers come out of their breaks. Now take those tools, that natural passing ability and refined technique, and give them to Todd Monken. Give Monken a quarterback who enters the league already possessing the passing skills that Monken had to develop in Lamar over several seasons. Let Monken build an offensive system specifically designed around Shedeur's abilities from day one. That's the recipe for creating an absolutely elite quarterback, a player who could become one of the faces of the NFL for the next decade. This is, without even the slightest exaggeration, the absolute best possible hiring scenario for Shedeur Sanders' NFL future. Think about the situation he's walking into compared to most rookie quarterbacks. Most young quarterbacks get drafted by teams that are taking a chance on them, hoping it works out, but without any real certainty. They often walk into situations where the coaching staff didn't specifically choose them, where there's no clear development plan, where the offensive system might not match their skill set at all. Quarterbacks frequently get forced into schemes that don't fit their strengths, asked to do things they're not comfortable with, expected to succeed in systems designed for completely different types of players. It's like asking a sprinter to run a marathon or expecting a power hitter to become a contact specialist. The fundamental mismatch dooms them before they even get started. But Shedeur's situation is completely different, the polar opposite of that typical rookie quarterback experience. This is a head coach who specifically wanted Shedeur Sanders, who has wanted to coach him for years. This is a proven offensive system that perfectly fits Shedeur's skill set. This is a track record of developing quarterbacks not just into competent starters, but into superstars, into MVP caliber players. How many rookie quarterbacks in NFL history have gotten to walk into that kind of situation? Almost none. You can probably count them on one hand. This is the kind of alignment between player and coach that launches Hall of Fame careers. Monken didn't take the Cleveland Browns head coaching job and then figure out which quarterback he wanted to build around. That's backwards. That's how most teams operate, and that's why most teams fail to develop young quarterbacks successfully. No, Monken took this job because he could get Shedeur Sanders. The quarterback came first in his planning. The vision for building around Shedeur is what made the Cleveland job attractive enough for Monken to accept it. When you have a head coach who is that invested in your success, who has studied your college game film until he's memorized every throw, who understands your strengths and weaknesses better than you probably understand them yourself, who is already planning how to scheme the offense to put you in position to succeed, that's when special things happen in the NFL. That's when careers take off. That's when franchises transform overnight from laughingstocks into contenders. Shedeur Sanders is about to have the full opportunity to showcase his potential at the NFL level. No more questions about whether he's just getting by on his last name. No more doubters claiming he can't succeed because his father is his coach. No more skeptics saying he hasn't proven anything. Just pure, unadulterated opportunity to prove he's one of the best quarterbacks of his entire generation. One analyst captured the potential perfectly when discussing what this means for Cleveland. Keep our defense the way it is, which is one of the tops in the league. And we can have a head coach who can command. Keep the stability that they've had in some respects in the locker room, but elevate this offense to get the most out of the tools that they have and the players that they have. That's what's been missing. For the Cleveland Browns and their incredibly loyal, long-suffering, absolutely devoted fan base, this could be the beginning of a completely new era. Not just a new coach or a new quarterback, but a fundamental transformation of what it means to be the Cleveland Browns. This fan base has been dreaming about this moment, waiting for it, praying for it, since the franchise returned to the NFL in 1999. The Browns have been searching for their franchise quarterback for decades. They've cycled through more quarterbacks than most people can remember. We're talking about a franchise that's tried everything imaginable. First-round picks that flamed out spectacularly, veteran free agents who were supposed to provide stability but couldn't recapture their previous success, reclamation projects who never got reclaimed, late-round flyers who never took flight, trade acquisitions who didn't work out. You name the strategy for finding a quarterback, Cleveland has tried it, and nothing has worked for any sustained period. The list of quarterbacks who have started games for the Browns since 1999 is longer than some NFL rosters. It's become a punchline, a running joke, a symbol of organizational dysfunction. But it's not funny if you're a Browns fan who has watched your team waste elite defenses, squander playoff opportunities, and break your heart year after year because they couldn't find anyone who could consistently throw the football at an NFL level. But with Todd Monken's offensive genius combined with Shedeur Sanders' incredible talent, Cleveland might finally have found their answer to the quarterback question that has plagued them for over 2 decades. This isn't just another attempt that might work out. This is a calculated plan backed by proven success and undeniable talent. Just close your eyes and imagine the scene at First Energy Stadium on a crisp fall Sunday afternoon. Picture the legendary Dog Pound, that passionate, rowdy, absolutely devoted section of fans, going absolutely insane as their quarterback drops back and delivers a perfect strike downfield. Imagine having a confident, accurate, mobile quarterback who can make every throw on the field. Someone who can extend plays with his legs when necessary. Someone who can process defenses at a high level and find the open receiver. Someone who has the mental toughness and leadership abilities that come from being coached by Deion Sanders, an NFL legend and Hall of Famer, his entire life. We're talking about a quarterback who can hit the deep ball with the kind of accuracy that makes highlight reels and gets defenders benched. Someone who can thread the needle on intermediate routes, fitting balls into tight windows that most quarterbacks wouldn't even attempt. Someone who can make all the touch throws, the back shoulder fades, the perfectly placed balls over linebackers and under safeties. Someone who can deliver absolute strikes into tight coverage, trusting his arm and his receivers to make plays. Combine that quarterback with Todd Monken's creative play calling and his ability to scheme players open, to create favorable matchups, to keep defenses guessing and off balance, and you've got the makings of an explosive, dynamic offense that can compete with anybody in the league. We're talking about an offense that could rank in the top 5 in the NFL within a year or two, an offensive system that could become the model other teams try to copy,